Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco, and I, much to the occasional disillusionment of my spawn, am a father. We've talked about this,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so just real quick. My daughter's 17. Her name's Morgan. I love Morgan. Hey, Morgan.
Shout out to Morgan.
The morning was a Sunday morning, 2003. We wake up. Margie's like, "Oh, it's coming, right?"
Oh,
so
sure.
It's awesome for our
Yeah.
only child, right? We get in the car, get to the hospital, get there. She's late. Everything's in the room. Is awesome, right? And the doctors come in, and they're just like, "Yeah, you're about 3 centimeters dilation." This is a little too much information, maybe for some people. Just follow me. This is going to go a place. Don't worry.
Yeah.
3 centimeters, probably 7-8 hours, right? And I sit there, and I'll admit, and I've talked this over with my wife. In my head, I'm like, oh, wow, maybe I could go home and I could work on some stuff.
Yeah.
7-8 hours, right? And of course, I didn't, because here's what happened. Like a half hour goes by. Margie's like, I need an epidural because, call back to our last minute, right?
Sure, yeah.
I need,
Put the
this
needles in my
hurts,
spine.
right? Yeah, right? The doctors come in and are like, what are you talking about? They check. Oh, no, you're 9 centimeters. This baby's coming.
Oh.
And the room went from to doors flying open and carts coming in and people and everything's happening and a baby is coming.
Right.
It was the most insane turn of events I have ever witnessed in my life.
We have a similar thing happen with ours too, where my wife is on all the medication stuff too, and doing the heroic job that only mothers can do. And then finally, our first daughter is born. I look around, I'm like, there's like 30 people in the room.
What just happened?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and they're all, because it was one of those situations where the room that you're in, that you're staying in, is also the room where you
That's
give
the
birth.
delivery room,
it's
right?
the delivery room too. Like, they don't take you away anywhere in this particular
realize that,
hospital.
right?
But yeah, same thing. I'm like, wow, like everybody, I'm the only one not in scrubs.
Right,
in this room.
It was just amazing. But it was just amazing to me how quickly it went from serene to chaos
DEFCON
to just,
1.
hold on, here we go, right? Okay, why did I bring this up? Because that is this minute of the movie.
That's right. Things are about to kick off because, it's good. This next set of minutes are going to be pretty intense. But we start quite serenely. So where we pick up where we had left off in minute 48. So this is minute 49 of 2008's Incredible Hulk, directed by Louis Leterrier. We are back at Knox College, a.k.a. the University of Toronto, a.k.a. Culver University, for inside the movie, as they're out for a nice quiet walk. So there's Bruce and Betty. Bruce looking extremely nervous. Betty looking way too nonchalant. Like that's my only complaint about this minute is she's way too much like, oh, who cares? What does it matter? No, everything's fine.
Getting a bagel after this.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be cool. Like, I'll just drop my ex-boyfriend off at the bus station. Off he goes, and then just back to normal life. I
Look
mean,
for Leonard.
What's the worst
see
thing
what
that
he's
could
doing.
happen today?
Yeah, exactly.
Here on this beautiful Saturday morning in 2010.
Oh, it is Saturday morning.
Yeah, it's a Saturday morning, 2010. Okay. Yeah. So they are out for a quiet walk. Betty's in white. Bruce is in his, I referred to as his maintenance worker chic. He's back in the Marvel disguise, so he's in his thing. And so Betty stops him. It's like, let me give you a little fashion makeover here. And I can tell you, as she's doing this, I'm like, man, this is exactly what my wife would do. Because, boy, does she hate a tight tuck. She hates it.
I have no issues with that.
She hates the tight tuck. So, loosen drapey all the way.
Pulls out his shirt, right? Lets it kind of just...
But I got to say, there is a certain perspective where all of this, what's about to happen, is all Betty's fault. Because what's the next thing she does? She breaks the Marvel disguise.
Oh, my God.
She pulls the hat off, which exposes him to the world as the fugitive that he is.
Oh, no!
I don't want to throw Betty under the bus here, but, I'm saying, there is a reason the Marvel disguise worked, and it's the ball
that's
cap.
actually kind of insane, because that's exactly what happens.
Yeah. She goes and she actually, gets his hair out. Apparently, we now know your question has finally been answered. Why does he wear his hair in that weird flat down style? Because that's the way Betty likes it.
She
smooths down to give him that nice insurance salesman
matted
look,
down,
right?
Weird,
flat, smooth.
I don't even know. I don't want to disparage anyone, but
yeah. So what we discovered this when there's as she's having and Betty's out of her own little happy Betty world here,
Right.
and then Bruce has this really intense look on his face right before everything kicks off. Now, before that happens, we need to talk about what goes in this moment, because there is a deleted scene that fits in right between those two shots,
Right.
Which we discovered as we're doing ready for this, and it explains why before he even notices what he's about to notice, that he looks so angry.
He looks really pissed
Because
like,
they
yes.
had, it turns out the two of them had a pretty intense scientific, morality-based conversation right before this happened. And
That
they
gets
deleted
cut,
it for
right.
the movie. Yeah, it's actually a really good conversation, like some really interesting things they bring up. I don't think this was the place for it, but I think they probably should have it. Like, you know what? I would have put this conversation with them in the hallway instead of the awkward pajama, back
interesting.
there. Like, put it in there where they have that conversation. And they just
Oh,
like,
that
go,
would have made sense. So this deleted scene is called Bruce's Guilt.
Yes, and you can find it on the Blu-ray or digital release or even on YouTube if you search for it.
And it basically takes place right between her adjusting his hair and him looking really pissed off.
Yeah.
And the conversation is, he's kind of, Bruce is sort of lamenting or sort of reminiscing, like, what would have happened did we know what we were doing?
Yeah,
How did
like
we-
what was our goals? What were we trying to do in this project? Like, it was not about them at all. It's about like the scientifically.
Right.
Like, what was the project trying to do? Like, what were we thinking?
And she kind of has this response of, well, we knew we were trying to make things better, right? Or like, and she's kind of alluding a little bit to the general stuff, but like, the stuff. And Bruce, the conversation gets really testy
Intense.
for him.
Yeah.
Because his two issues is one, well, the general wants to just make weapons.
He was very clear about what he wanted.
Always clear, right? And I think that's the gist of the argument is that, the general was clear. Why did we not see that? Or why did we not, be better than that? Why did we concur? And then he goes into this really kind of intricate rant on, we're the result of billions of years of existence, systems that have grown, failed, died over and over and over again. Who the heck did we think we were that on an afternoon one day we were just going to inject something into somebody
and fix all
and
that.
fix everything?
Yeah.
We're idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the hubris.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's okay. Here's the thing.
It's the life finds a way.
Okay, I was not expecting that at all. This is the first time, and there's a significance of this deleted scene and then what you see happen, because I think this is the first time you've seen Bruce get angry.
That's true.
Without.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
so
right.
interesting.
I would have cut to a shot of the heart monitor at that point.
Well, he has no heart. Well, and he doesn't. Does he have one?
No, I think it's snapped off.
No, because we've lost it. We haven't replaced that. Of
Yeah.
all the things he's replaced,
Yeah,
the
it's
one thing
snapped
he
off
probably
in
should replace is the
during
heart
the,
monitor. But the heart monitor is no longer needed. The trope is not. It's not a prop that we need.
Yeah.
But it's
So it will come back.
Right. It's
Spoiler alert.
It's a great conversation that they have. So honestly, when you look at that hallway conversation in in an earlier minute, I would have cut that. I would have put this scene back in.
Yeah.
If your concern is runtime, this conversation has meat.
Yeah.
It's important, and for nothing else, it explains why he looks so angry after she's combing his
right.
hair.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any
obviously
sense.
It moves so fast that you don't even register. But you'd have to do.
Oh,
something
I did.
Like this,
I
actually.
was like,
But then,
dude.
because then as back into the actual movie, as he's doing it, finally, Rob, Bruce's superpower actually pays off for once. Because he looks over and he makes eye contact with the soldier who's running up on him from behind.
Yeah, he sees it. Well, he
For
sees
the first time, like we've seen his superpower has Bruce's superpower, not the Hulk superpower, but Bruce's superpower has betrayed him time and again.
to see things with his eyes.
To make eye contact with inappropriate people, and
Right.
and so now it actually pays off for once, where he looks over and he makes eye contact with the soldier going through. Oh, hey, look at that! It can be used for good too. So then he turns over and looks over and again makes eye contact with another soldier,
right.
who's working their way through around a tree to get a position and instantly knows what's going on. And so this is my gripe with their depiction of Betty is so confused by this. What's happening? What's going? What? It's like your father is a general.
I don't understand.
You were
this.
there when the Hulk showed up. Like, what? Like, how can you be so surprised by any
The
of
only
this?
thing. Well, okay. The only way you explain this in context is again, she's so just the trauma of the last 24 hours is so severe.
She's still a general's daughter.
I know, but she's trying. She's just in the moment.
Yeah, Lois Lane wouldn't have reacted this way.
No.
She's a general's daughter too.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's so. No, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just meant to show. Wow, I mean, just I don't want it to be like this.
Yeah.
Why does it have to still be like this?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So he says, Betty, you have to go as far away from me as you can. Don't argue. Just go. And then she's left studying. They're like, why do I have to? What? And then Bruce just takes off and starts running. And then the Humvees come rolling out. So if you go into the Internet Movie Vehicle Database, you can find all the different variations. I'm not going to go through all the different variations, but these are all Humvees manufactured in South Bend, Indiana. Shout out to South Bend. They're all in various configurations, so you can go in if you really are that nerdy, and God bless you for it. Want to find all the different configurations, go ahead. But basically, there's a bunch of Humvees come rolling in.
And all different kinds. I mean, troop configured, car hauling stuff.
Yep.
They've got
the turret one later on.
They've got the water, like amphibious assault with the exhausts that are on the hood instead of in the back behind.
Yeah, so then we see them then put into action here, so that as they go through and they basically knock two cars out of the way to get to Bruce, because it's like property damage, we're the military, we don't care. Let the pencil pushers figure that stuff out later on. So it knocks apart two different cars, and you found the make and model of these cars.
Well, I figured we should do some due diligence here.
Sure.
So if you look at this whole scene, and there's a couple things you'll see is that in the background there is two particular cars that there's a lot of in this scenes. One is a second generation Chevy Blazer, or GMC Jimmy, depending on the model and stuff.
Yeah,
these were made. This version is roughly like late '90s, early 2000s, and then the other one is the venerable Jeep Cherokee, the standard car that was made from like it was made from the mid '80s to like 2001.
So these are 6 or 7 years old,
right?
Even if they were the last of the product line models. So they were not they were old even at the time the movie was shot.
They're I mean, because the Blazer. That would, I mean, and if you know anything about cars right now, Chevy they resurrected the Blazer badge, so that's back. But these Blazers were based on the old Chevy S10 truck chassis. Why do I know this? Because I have it. The first new car I ever bought was an S10.
Oh, nice.
So still have it, amazingly, right? So
and if you look down the street too in some of the shots, you can see these similar models. Yeah.
So something tells me. And these are not like, you'd think to yourself, okay, these are not from rental fleets. Because what do you do if you're going to bash a couple of cars?
Yeah.
You're going to find cars that either, I would assume these cars don't run.
No.
You know what I mean?
A lot of times they even will take out the motors and stuff too, so that the cars will fly when they get hit.
So a really good question about this. So when you look at the shot, so here's these two cars are parked.
Yeah.
A Humvee comes in, the lead Humvee comes in, T-bones them in the middle.
Yeah.
They go flying.
Yeah, they usually strip them so that they're lighter.
There's no way they weigh what a regular car weighs.
Yeah.
And two, if you look very carefully, the curb is higher, because if you look at the Blazer in this shot, the curb goes all the way to passing the wheel, not the wheel part of the car, of the tire. So it's actually above the bottom part of the tire. You notice the back of the car. If it hit the curb like that, at that impact, the wheel would break. So what I think's happened is there's been some trickery with the way that the cars were situated, to where when the Humvee hits them, they're ready to go flying.
Okay.
And I think again, I don't think there's a lot of digital work necessarily here. I think it's mostly a practical effect.
Yeah.
But there's something that helps them pivot so clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just it's
a great shot.
It's a great shot. It's a 3-second shot.
Yeah.
It just, what it does is, the people putting this together, you're trying to show the urgency. You're trying to show that this is happening.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
No, they don't care. Yeah, that's clear.
There is no concern about collateral damage in this operation.
Yeah.
That's the point of that scene.
Yeah. So it cuts to that we see them like full on deploying. So we see them crossing the campus, driving across the quad. We see shots around Betty as they're coming through. And then we see like the poor infantrymen like hop, like I wish we could have gotten to ride in the cool
And there's
Humvees.
a ton of them. They're coming from everywhere.
Yeah,
this is a full convergence on their location. location.
It's a full like sort of battalion. Then we cut to a shot of that is an Omni International V150S. That's the big 8-wheeled vehicle that we see coming through.
That's like what typically I think a lot of major metropolitan SWAT teams have those or something like that. Urban
yeah, that's
assault
true.
vehicle.
Probably not in the camouflage. Then they probably have
right, but it's an 8-wheel vehicle. I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's and like the Humvee, it can be modified for different configurations. But I'll tell you, you want to know how fast Bruce is running at this point. He runs so fast, he runs to a whole different location.
Yeah,
because
he does.
He runs right from the University of Toronto. He runs so fast, he's suddenly in Morningside Park in Scarborough, Toronto.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so the all the stuff you see them when they get pretty much everything from when you see that Omni International 8-wheeled vehicle is then shot in a completely different area. It's all Morningside Park. So all the stuff that they're running around through, that's not the college campus anymore. It's a totally different location.
Now, of course, our job is to kind of look for all that stuff. But the way you know that, the backgrounds don't match up as these shots change. Because
they do different angles and you see no buildings at all.
But there's no buildings.
Yeah.
You know that this is a clearing, this is a park within a campus.
Yes.
There's buildings on all four sides.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that in some of these shots.
They'll come back, but they're not for a while here. They're totally gone. Then you see Ross is inside. We assume inside the Omni International there. I don't know what the shortened version do people say. He's in the V150. I guess so.
Right.
Yeah. So he's angry because Bruce got spooked. He says, "We would have had snipers on site in 3 minutes. I want to know who jumped the gun." Really? Snipers is what you're concerned about? Like, you think snipers would have worked? Like, you sent a hit squad in, and they didn't really do anything. Would the snipers really have done the job?
This was just an impact of urgency.
Yeah.
But then we cut to this wonderful shot, and it's like a 2-second shot.
Right, and another crane shot.
Louis
loves his cranes.
The camera's elevated. Bruce is running through this park, and this is clearly not the place of where the buildings are.
It's like they're besides the lampposts, there's no structures in sight at all.
But he runs right through these 2 trees that are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Everything
about
it.
We're looking into the sun, so the shadows are all coming towards us and stuff too. Yeah, it's a great shot.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
And then he says, he's arguing who jumped the gun. So then Blonsky comes blasting out of the group with a squad of soldiers here, and he says he's heading 270. I was like, I don't know what that means, a military coordinate or something like that. Turns out that's actually a compass reading. 270 is true west, so it's like from 0 and then like each one across the way. So that means he basically is saying he's heading west. And once again, here Bruce's superpower. All those soldiers on the field immediately locks eyes with Blonsky.
Yes,
happens again.
And it doesn't. I don't necessarily know if the locations match up. Exactly. If you were to put this out,
clearly the intention.
But the intention of the scene is Bruce just goes, "Oh, it's that guy.
Like that all the way from Brazil, from the favela. That guy."
Oh.
Right. So then as Bruce is like, "Oh, man, that guy again." So then he turns and starts running. And then we cut to a shot inside of a Humvee as we see the soldiers going. And then on that very jerky, rocky shot, that's where minute 49 comes to an end. So the hunt is on.
That escalated quickly.
It sure did, right? From pulling off the Marvel disguise all the way to being hunted down by a proto-super soldier.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're many minutes away from... How are you doing?
That's right.
Do you want the shaver?
That's right, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, so minute 50. Woo, things are heating up. So definitely make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. But if you're thinking like, "Oh man, I love the show, but I wish I could get it early," you can, because over at Patreon, all of our Patreon supporters get to hear the show a week early. So you're like, what's going to happen in minute 50? You can find out right now by going and becoming a Patreon supporter. And if you are a Patreon subscriber and you're listening to this, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Yes.
You can learn more at nextreel.com/Patreon. Thanks all for listening. We'll see you back here for minute 50. Hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.